welcome everybody to this 2026 first episode of Strong Perspective Podcast. Welcome to you. Welcome to you. Glad to be here. I'm one of your hosts, Keith Armstrong, along with
Uncle Spoke.
our other host, Damon Armstrong, is going to come in on this. What do we call that? Dramatic interest.
There you
He'll be here. But welcome to you, Jaquari. How are you, man? Happy New Year. I didn't say it to you about 3-4 times, but man, happiest New Year's to you and Damon, brother.
go. 2026, man. Shit, in 2016, I couldn't imagine 2026. Like, what in the world? But here we are.
And it flies by, though, don't it? It flies
It
by.
does. It does. Like it's nothing.
Yeah.
Like it's absolutely nothing.
My youngest son, Carson, is going to be graduating this year. I remember when he was born. You know, he was born a month early. I can fit him in the palm of my hand. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
It was one of those kind of things that you never forget. Then I see him come down here, lumbering through here, you know, uh, uh, throwing his spoiled ass weight around, and I can't blame nobody but me.
bumping, bumping his head on the top of the door thing.
Yeah, yeah. How was your day today, Jaquari?
It's pretty good, man. It's pretty good. You know, we had New Year's Day off, then I had to go back to work the next day, so I had to pace myself. I was kind of salty about that, but I got through it.
Yeah,
How
yeah.
was your day, man?
It was good, man. You know what I mean? Understanding it's a good thing when you get things done that you plan to get done, because that's rare. It's rare that we have plans. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
It's rare that we no, no, it's rare that we stick to plans that we put set in place. We could probably get to one or two, but then life starts leaking itself in there. What up, Damon? How you doing today?
Doing all right. How you brothers doing, man?
We good. We
Pretty
good.
good, pretty good.
How was your day today?
Man, Monday was great, man. Grandbaby showed me love all day today, man. We did craft works and all that. And I'm sitting there like, put the piece back. Don't stick it there. And she looking at me like, calm down.
Yeah, yeah,
And I let her do her thing, and it was beautiful
yeah. That's
because it
true.
came from her mind.
Uh, I have a thought. Well, let me do the housekeeping, and then I need to ask you guys a question. All right. This is Strong Perspective Podcast. We go live every Friday at 7:30 on our YouTube channel by the same name, Strong Perspective Podcast. Do us a favor, go to our YouTube channel, check out our videos, like, share, and subscribe. Do us a favor, 26, our numbers are going to build up. You know why? Because we have something to say. You know what I mean? But please go like, share, and subscribe to the podcast. And we're on YouTube, we're on Facebook Live, so all three of our friends can watch us if they'd like. And we also send out invitations. So if you see this or you're watching right now on YouTube or anywhere else, recommend us to your friends. Recommend us to your friends to come in and check us out. Check out past videos and just really and truly drink in what we're giving you. Because our moonshine, our moonshine is motherfucker. Because you sip it, if you sip it slow, you get the best effect. But if you drink it fast, it take you to places that you gonna be when you gonna be there.
So in other words, we intoxicating if you're paying attention.
Intoxicating. So the question I have, right? and I don't understand, like, in this podding universe, it's a lot of us, right? And I'll say that we are pretty much beginners because we're like 5 years in, going on 6. But I hear the more successful podcasts talk about their peers, you know, the rappers, the sports guys, you know, actors and stuff like that. And the one thing that seems to come to in that's constant, and I want your opinion about this, guys. They say, well, some people think they have the personality to be podcasters. Some people think they have the personality to be podcasters, but they don't. I don't think it has a lot to do with how you speak or your vernacular or your slang or non-slang or anything. I think they're speaking on whether or not they come off dull. So my question to you guys is this: what do you think? And I'm not asking you to be in depth with it, but what do you think? And guys in the comments, feel free to add on to what with our discussion. What do you think makes? Give me 1 to 2 things that makes a good podcast that will make you want to watch it.
Probably for me, man, rhythm and consistency. You know, I mean, you can. This is a genre, man, where more than likely you start out pretty awful, but somewhere you find your groove, and if you can satisfy yourself, man, in my personal opinion, you successful.
Mm.
You're successful. I mean, because it's a lot of things about myself, man. You know that I critique in the moment or whatever. Because I told you I don't watch these.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But I critique it in the moment, and I used to sit. I used to be on air, going through this whole anxiety circus, man, about what I just said. I mean, what the fuck did that mean? And sometimes I still do because I'll have a point in my head and start to rattle it off, and all of a sudden I'll start thinking myself, and out of nowhere I'll just be like, well, yeah, I don't know what I'm saying. I don't. Who does that on a podcast? Well, I don't give a fuck.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because I do it in real life.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It's
I'm totally satisfied at this point in my podcast career personally.
Okay.
I love being in front of people even if it is like 6 or 7. You know what I mean?
Well, Damon, what about yourself?
For me, man, it's about originality, man. You know what I'm saying? If you just be yourself and you throw out a catchphrase and it catch fire, isn't that how it starts? You know what I'm saying? People listening to you and you being yourself, you throw out a catchphrase that makes sense to them. That say, hey man, you know what? That was some truth and honesty to that, and that resonates. You know what I'm saying? My point is just you being yourself that might catch somebody's attention. I think that's what this whole thing is about. You know what I'm saying? Because if you look at all the podcasts and all this stuff that's so called trending, it's all, you know, it's all somebody being honest and coming up with something that express what they're going through in life. And I think that's what catches people's attention. Man, that was honest, man, and I never would have put it that way. You know what I'm saying? You only come to that conclusion when you're just being honest and just being yourself, right?
Yeah.
You only come to that conclusion when you being yourself. So I think in terms of coming to an understanding of what your place in this world is, And people to recognize where you're coming from, you just have to be honest and be yourself.
In regards to like like piggybacking off of what Damon just said about viral moments and everything, man. I think through its process and its evolution, the podcast industry has kind of lost something because some people, that's all they try to do is catch those viral moments. You know, I mean, it is or organic moments, man. I mean, as precious as they are, for you for us to try to recreate something, that's thunderous, man. It just loses something in the translation for me.
Yeah, I think a part of it when it comes to me, because I think as a podcaster, if I can name one thing is your energy. I mean, unless you're a comedian, you should not be on here to entertain. You should be your authentic self, and if you have something to pass along or to teach, that's another thing that you have to be able to present it to people. See, on our journey, because I was been the moderator, and I like asking questions. You know, I foolishly asked people questions early on, right? And well, man, hey, man, you got to go viral for something, you know. And I don't, and it made sense. That's good advice, right? But it wasn't enough for me. It wasn't enough because I'm like, what does that mean? Because I'm a logical person. I see things in a logical way. Like, what does that mean? You got to go viral, right? And it's not questioning those people, but questioning the actual thing that's made some successes in the podcasting world, right? And then it hit me. I'm like, well, damn, that's a fucking easy thing to say, to cancel out whatever big work you have to do. Now I feel like I'm chasing it. You know what I'm saying? Because I had to figure out whether or not I was going to be an entertainer or not. Because the podcasting programs that I watch is not about the entertainment. It's about people who might be entertaining, but it's about them people. Like, damn, do I like sitting here? Like, perfect example, the Joe Budden podcast is the number one joint now as far as entertainment, whatever, da da da, all right? But Joe Budden is an asshole. But see, he is his authentic self though. And what he figured out was to put the right kind of people there to counterbalance and not suck his socks and give their point of view like we do. We give our true selves. You know what I'm saying? Some of it's entertainment, but that he's an example of what I'm talking about. But then there's other guys like the $1 Million Worth of Game. They're entertainers. Right? Gilly is an entertainer. It's what he does, right? And the mix with Wallow, who's the more serious person, who's all about upward mobility wise, as far as making a dollar and doing those different things, right? They counterbalance each other, and plus they joke with each other enough that it's some real. It's like you with your boys. You know what I'm saying? And that draws people in. You just got to figure out whether or not, because you'll try. To me, if you're not an entertainer, you can't be funny all the time.
And it's not. I mean, and truth be told, man, this is not an easy thing to do.
It's not.
And the thing, and the things that Joe Budden and Gillian Wallow and those guys accomplished already, man, will never be accomplished again.
It's true.
So as far as I'm concerned, man, them dudes got a formula, and that's their thing, you know.
Yeah, but wasn't
And
their
it's
intent?
go ahead. Man.
My bad, man. I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, that was pretty much the end of my statement anyway.
My thinking in watching it is that they are no different from us. They just happen to just throw the spaghetti up against the damn wall and saw it was stuck. You know what I'm saying? And then figure out how to navigate from that point of view. You know what I'm saying? All of us have our own personal experience in life, man. Me and you, all three of us, man, have our own personal experiences. Now I can talk about some shit, right, that I keep close to my breast that affected my life and how I conduct myself. And I should say, you know what? Do I share this or do I not? You know what I'm saying? A lot of people are willing to put themselves out there, you know what I'm saying, and be it out of desperation or whatever the case may be, they just put the stuff out there because that's their experience. What is it that you are willing to share? Now, if you're guarding, holding things close to your breast, if you want to be this big podcaster and you want to, you know what I'm saying, experience that for what it is worth, then it takes personal shit to talk about it because somebody might be able to identify with that shit.
If they see
You
you
know
as
what I'm
a,
saying?
if they see you as an entertainer, Damon,
Okay, so
you don't have to share personal stuff.
I don't see.
okay,
I don't really see a lot of podcasters sharing personal stuff like we do.
I mean,
Not saying that it doesn't happen. I mean, but you know, it's pretty much the theme of our show.
when I
it is.
say when I say personal stuff, I'm talking about opinion wise. Do people think likewise like you do? I think that's what most people's intention in this genre is. Hey man, do you think like I do? You, do we share common things? And I think that's what resonates. What you share in common with people. Hey man, I didn't know that, man. I'm glad you expressed that personal thing. Not, I'm not gonna get over here and talk about my kids and our relationship, but I'm gonna talk about life in this totality. And you know what? Hey man, I went through this.
Yeah.
What do you think about that? Then you come to a conclusion where people might be able to identify with that and say, man, damn, I feel the same way. Man, I'm glad you said it. And that becomes trending or whatever. Talking about somebody else's life and trying to capitalize on that, that's, I'm not going to say for lack of a for the lack of a better statement, I'm not going to say that's disingenuous, but you do come to a conclusion about it and understand, man, I would have never done that shit. You know what I'm saying? I would have never done that, man. You know, you can come to the conclusion that, man, was that bravery, or is this guy or female trying to trend off somebody else's or misfortunes or whatever? I don't think any of us three would ever do that. You know what I'm saying? Just to trend and just to build numbers. I don't think we will ever do that.
I mean, I don't know if we're in position to do it. See, that's the thing about it is these these the real the mid tier to the higher tier come in with people that they have followers, they have, you know, people they, you know, in the thousands like us. Um, YouTube
What's up, big cuz? Love you.
with us, just to look at where we are is, you know, we have all this content that we have, right? And we clip them as much as possible and get some of the best things out of it. But if you do not have if you're not in, and it's overly said, but it's true. If you're not in that algorithm that's going to reach out to more people than what you have, then the things that you've said, Damon and Jaquari, you said might hit 2 years from now. You know what I'm saying? Mostly because our numbers are built up as far as who's subscribing to us, or we run into the right person who has numbers, who clips our thing, and they add us at our podcast. See, that's what it is. It's a maze, and I'm not frustrated because what I do, I enjoy every minute that I come on here. I love it. You know what I'm saying? Just to talk. It's a conversation.
Or spend time with each other.
Oh, of course. I mean, that's the given. But you know,
Spend
just
time with each other.
that's the thing that you have to understand. Like, you gotta grind. You gotta keep going. You gotta be consistent. That's one thing. And also, there's a little bit of luck to it, but really and truly, it's numbers. It's numbers.
You know what our dad told me?
It's numbers, and it's the fact that I'm sorry to cut you off, Damon. It's numbers, and it's the fact that, you know, the podcasters who all three of us probably listen to and watch or whatever, they all had like successful careers in some other form of entertainment. So their fan base was basically automatic.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying?
voyeuristic fan base, of course.
Yeah. So I mean, they whatever craft that they had honed before they got on this platform, man. You know, those people, they bought them over. They deserve those people. They earned those. They earned them from what they was doing since day one. You know what I mean? So God bless them.
Because I'm not upset. I'm not saying that the game is rigged. None of that. Because what I'm doing is start sharpening my tools to be able to go into my regular life, talk to my family, my friends, and people out here in order to exist. You know what I'm saying?
What you gonna say, Dave?
What I was going to say is that when you think about it in terms of society and how we interact with each other, man, we're not going to give. It takes a person who's able to be vulnerable, man, based on something that they are going through in real time, and they're just speaking their mind. Now, God knows how many people who can identify with that. But they would never identify with it unless that person is being honest and talking about what they're going through. And in that situation, you think about the generality, I mean, the honesty of it. You know what I'm saying? Most times we all just covering and protecting ourselves. We communicate, but we're just covering and protecting ourselves. But in that moment when somebody's saying, man, I just went through some shit, and it was a struggle, and it was hard as hell. And I'm just expressing myself right now. That's being vulnerable, and then allow people to come in and say, man, I know how that is.
Yeah.
I know what that means. Man, that was deep. And then it becomes trending from that point. But if we just on here trying to outthink and out clever and just be monetary and all that stuff, when it's not genuine, you know what I'm saying? We're just speaking the same language as any other cat who's not serious about it.
I wish the fuck I was a comedian.
Yeah. I would. You know what? I wish.
And look, and I'm not saying it so I can have the numbers. No, look, just like I like having conversations, I like to laugh. I want to laugh more. You see
what did we appreciate about when you think about comedians? Who is the comedian that we appreciate most? Richard Pryor. He was not trying to connect with people with what was trending and all that stuff. Everything he spoke about was personal. Everything.
Yeah.
He put himself out there. He said, "Hey man, shit, man, I just went through this," and he made it funny, but it was personal. And from that aspect, I give him credit because even though he made it funny, he felt the need to express himself. Hey man, do anybody else feel this way? You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying it's a struggle or whatever, but he was like, man, I just got burnt out. I just got burnt up, man. That was crazy. I was running down the street. He made a joke about a tragic thing. And he was a survivor. He was a survivor in that aspect.
Look,
that is something that requires a person to be unafraid to. Man, I'm going through something, man, and I'm gonna speak my truth. You're gonna deal with it or you're not.
Yeah, I think like me personally, I used to like I argue with the best of people. And it's more of a debate than anything, but I can argue. I can show my anger in my speech and it makes sense. You understand what I'm saying to you? But early on I avoided that shit. You know why? Because I didn't know how to articulate it for it to be on the podcast. You know what I mean? We've had our moments, and then it's the most entertaining shit to everybody else. The three of us have had our moments on here where we was going back and forth at each other, and people reached out to me and told me, "Oh, I love that," and da 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 da, right? But it didn't make sense because it was going circular. It was circular. You know what I'm saying? If you repeat the same thing over 3 times, you got to stop. Like, yo, you made that point. It's time to move on, right? So what I'm saying is I really and truly tried to avoid that early on with us. You know what I'm saying?
Why is that, bro?
Why?
Explain that to me. Yeah, why is that?
It don't make sense to argue about something when the two of you are the only people who know what the hell you're talking about. On a podcast I'm talking about. But then the three of us got better. Matter of fact, we podcasters right now, and we gotten so good at it that we spin it into what the fuck we talking about. You understand what I'm saying, T? Like, when Bill Burnett was on, when him and them damn Philadelphia Eagles, right? And we just so happened, you and him was going back and forth about LeBron James. And it was good debate. But then I got caught up in, we had 2 other guys, Ancobia and Andre on, that I wanted to hear them and then go back into it, like bring them into the fold, right? But then come to find out, they was being entertained by you and Bill.
Right.
But see, here's the thing. I wanted to mix it up more. And then Bill, because you got tunnel vision and you started to repeat, it became circular. You both became circular. You see what I'm saying? And I'm almost done.
That was a good clue.
Huh?
Go ahead.
It became circular in the sense that you both made your points, right? Mm-hmm. Now let's find something else to debate about. See what I'm saying? But Bill, you remember, think about it. I got angry because Bill threw me into it because he feels as though I'm a LeBron James fan. And I'm not a LeBron. I don't believe in that kind of shit. I think he's a great player and all this, but he has something against LeBron. You know, some people just weird that way. I'm calling you weird, Bill Burnett. You know, what he call us some LeBroniacs or some bullshit, and that I got angry, and I'm bringing this up to say that when it becomes a purpose in the debate and the arguing, I don't mind it going. But when the arguments become circular, when you start to repeat yourself, when you start to say things that really, now if it's funny stuff, you say it. You know what I'm saying? This is what we do when we're in the circles. We just talking shit. You know what I'm saying?
Well, don't take offense to this, bro, but you predicate as it pertains to how you're being made to feel and all that stuff. You decide, right? What if I feel compelled to repeat myself?
Okay, now, okay, to answer your question, before we went live, we had a game plan, correct?
Right.
We discussed it. You and Bill went off the rail. And I was trying to bring you back on. You understand that? That's what I'm talking about.
Based on our previous conversation before the podcast, you are absolutely right in that regard.
That's all. As long as you know, that, that's all.
But we are emotional animals. You know what I'm saying? If we feel compassionate about something, we're going to repeat ourselves.
I didn't say you were wrong. I didn't say that. I said I was trying to get us back on track because we had a game plan. That's all.
Sometimes, man, in conversations, man, and we know that for a fact, all three of us know this for a fact, as it pertains to having conversations with family members, man. Sometimes we're passionate about things. You know what I'm saying? And in being passionate about things, when you're discussing conversations with your family, who do you expect to be more understanding than anybody? Your family.
Hey, Jaquari, do you hear what he's saying? He's saying he wants to argue until he's satisfied, is what he's saying.
But you see it as an argument. I'm seeing it. I'm compelled to express myself in terms of what I'm feeling in a passionate way at the time.
When it becomes circular, you do understand what I mean by circular. I'm not being condescending. Because I don't want to say it wrong.
I understand that you could come. Listen, I respect what you're saying, bro. I can understand how you can come to that conclusion. Because that's how you feel.
No, that's how it goes, man. It has nothing to do with how I feel. That's what I'm saying to you. Bill is your friend. So if you wanted to carry it on afterwards, you could have done it.
I've been knowing Bill for 40 years, man.
That is my point exactly. This is why I tried to interrupt.
Me and him, what I'm saying is that me and him can argue with each other and then come to a conclusion because we respect each other as men. You know what I'm saying? But things get convoluted when people can't express themselves. And it was like, damn, this brother ain't listening. You not hear what I'm saying?
Luke, listen to what I'm saying to you. You are a host of Strong Perspective Podcast. You weren't a guest. All I was trying to do is bring you back so we can get back on, and you could have circled back if you wanted to. But you are a guest. That you are a host. The three of us have a responsibility to the podcast.
Well, let me ask you this question, bro. Isn't there irony in that regard, man? If I'm compassionate and I want to express my feelings of what I'm saying, of course, there's a format that we need to follow. You know what I'm saying? Of course, there's a format that we need to follow. But if I'm expressing myself in real time, I'm saying I'm not asking any. I'm not going against the format. I'm just asking to be heard. That's it.
Bro, if you make your point, then you're heard.
Okay, so in that situation, bro, did I have the
Yes,
opportunity to make my point,
you made your point. And that's what I
or
said.
did you decide, or did you decide that we need to move on?
First of all, it both. It was early on in the podcast, bro. It wasn't at the end.
I'm only asking.
And I
You know what I'm
just
saying?
answered the
Because
question.
y'all both know me. I have this tendency to be able to express myself and be heard. You know what I'm saying? Now, you being my older brother, whatever, hey Fluke, man, you repeating yourself and you doing this and you doing that. And then I follow up with, okay, man, I understand the point that you're making. Just let me finish my point. Where we can't, why can't all of us be able to come to a resolution with each other? Because that's the ultimate point, man. You know, we all men, we all arguing, we all making our points. It's about coming to a resolution. Hey, man, we can agree to
No,
disagree,
no,
and there's no harm in that.
you make your points. You cannot convince somebody your way if you're arguing with them.
All right,
Okay.
I gotta, I understand what you were saying. I get it.
And I understand
I'm
what
just
you mean.
saying.
What was you going to say, Jaquari?
I said, okay, I this 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 issue is what it is, fellas. I mean, this when there's I don't think there's going to be resolution, but with it, we need to
It
move
never
on.
is. It never is if you think a certain way and all this. So I have a question for you. I got two things I want to address. Just for GP. Uh, this came from the Pittsburgh area. A man found another man in his wife's in his bed and he ended up murdering him. Right? Shot him 10 times. This is in the Pittsburgh area, right? Now here's the details around it. The suspect.
That's a crime of passion, like a motherfucker.
No, hold on. The suspect filed for divorce in November. Filed for divorce in November, and he moved out 2 days before the actual murder. So he had cut ties with her, period, right? So, New Year's, I guess he was feeling sentimental. He had already moved out and everything. Called his wife and was like, yo, I want to come over. I want to come over and talk. She said, no, this is not a good time. You moved out. We're done, period, right? He decides that he's going to go anyway. He goes and he finds his wife in bed with a man. Things happen where the man ended up downstairs in the basement and he was shot 10 times. Does it still sound like a crime of passion to you?
Was it the man who went that got shot, or the man that was
The
there?
husband came home and found the other man in the bed, and he ended up killing the man in the bed. Does that sound like a crime of passion to you?
Sounds premeditated to me, because in his mind he was thinking that was going to be the case anyway, and he made his mind up.
Don't sound good at all. I mean, the timeline sounds kind of crazy to me. I mean, he filed for the divorce or whatever, and when did he move out?
He moved out 2 days before the murder.
So he was thinking he still had a window.
Yeah, but
Yeah, I cannot hear y'all, man.
let's break this down. Let's start with the wife, right? And there's no right or wrong with this. It just, common sense. Common sense seems to, for me, always rules the day for me, right? So your husband calls you New Year's, telling you, hey, I want to come over. You say this is not a good time and all this. Why would you have someone in your house, in your bed? Now, this is not victim blaming. This no. My point
I
is,
don't think that's relevant, Keith.
no. Look, we're not talking about relevancy, man.
We absolutely are talking
No,
about
no,
relevance.
we're not putting this man on trial because he should be going on trial for first-degree murder. Because he walked that
Yeah,
man downstairs to the basement and killed him. I'm
yeah,
talking
but I
about what
mean,
makes it.
but the wife, I mean, she got what dirt does she have on her face?
You think I'm talking about dirt or common sense? That's all I'm talking about, boy. You know what I'm saying?
Explain the common sense aspect to me.
You know this
That's what I
man
want to
still got
hear.
a key. First of all, you know he still got a key. And he trying to come back over there. And you're relaxed enough to be in the bed with somebody else. Now, she does deserve that. She does deserve that. So I'm not saying she's wrong. I'm saying you got to be more careful.
Yeah, I mean, but I mean, it sounds like you needed to be some sort of grace period there. He filed for divorce. He moved out. You know, 2 days. That's that time. When I said the timeline sounded shaky to me, 2 days. I mean, that was. I mean, he was still there.
I
He
did
filed. He filed for divorce when
in November.
in November. So I mean, he's still there for a month. I mean, I know he probably needed a minute to get on his feet and and find his way or
All of that.
whatever. But they was
All
they
of that.
was they was probably they was probably still sharing that bed, and
I,
he
bro,
felt like he had a window. I'm not giving him. I'm not making excuses for him or anything. I'm not doing that. I'm not trying to be an apologist or anything like that. But I mean, he just. I mean,
he
man,
what? Bro, listen, I don't know the circumstances since you're on him. I don't know the circumstances, but
he's
you
yeah.
filed for deserve. Now, whether or not she's unfaithful to him or whatever, he was tired of it or whatever, I get that. Right? But why do you take that man's life?
I don't know.
That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, I mean that's. I mean, yeah.
I get it. Run him the hell out the house, whatever. But why take his life? So,
Maybe because that was his intention, bro.
and we talking about it.
My question is, whether had it been the guy who tragically passed away, who was murdered, or anybody, I mean, did did it count more because it was the guy, or
No, it had nothing to do with that.
I mean, you don't know what did he have a history? Did they
Yeah,
say whether
and
he
that's
had a history with the guy or
that's a good point. Good point. I'm speaking more on the tragedy of it, man. Senseless taking of life, bro.
it don't make sense at all? I
Don't
mean,
make sense. Don't make, and it's sad, man. And that's what I'm saying. And I'm like, bro, if this, my man, not knowing the victim's circumstances, but bro, if you know that she still got a husband out there, you don't go to her house, man. Even though she's free and clear. You know what I'm saying? I just it's the saddest thing, man. That's all. You know. Do you have anything, Damon?
Dude, if that was the situation with them, And he made up in his mind, the husband made up in his mind, well, I'm gonna go over here and see what's going on. First of all, that's premeditated, number one. And number two, why take your ass there anyway? When you know there is a possibility that this might be the situation. You know what I'm saying? He was not being rational in that situation. He was
Yeah.
caught up in his feelings and it overcame him and he made the choice. Where he could, man, I don't want to see what I think is happening, so I'm gonna stay my ass home.
Yeah. Look, bust out a car window, man, then go the fuck home.
Even that, it's like,
I
dude,
mean,
there's this real possibility that these things are happening. So
Yeah.
when you decide to grab the gun and jump in your car, you're not thinking about anything else but
hmm
motherfucker better not be there when I get there. That's all you're thinking about.
and I'm assuming he didn't hurt his wife. He didn't hurt the lady.
No, he didn't. He didn't. No, he took him from his bed and took him down in the basement. And then shot him 10 times.
Crime of passion. You don't shoot nobody no damn 10 times, man.
Horrible,
Unless you have that mindset, man. If he there, oh, he gonna get the business. And that's all you're thinking about on the route to the place.
Yeah.
That's all you're thinking about. So it's premeditated and too bad, so sad in that situation, bro.
What did I miss? What happened to Coach? Oh my goodness. What coach? Auntie, what coach?
She talking about Michigan coach, man. When
U of M?
he broke into her house.
You think we're talking about that? No, we're talking about in the Pittsburgh area, a man who filed for divorce in November. Filed for divorce in November, moved out 2 days before New Year's, and came back home and found his wife in bed with another man. He killed the other man. That's what we're talking about.
It's a whole different situation, Auntie. It's not that.
Did they say whether or not they had kids?
I'm not sure. No, I didn't see it anyway.
Anyway, I mean, it's unfortunate, man. You know, and he needed more support. He needs somebody to say, "Hey, man, sit your ass down. What you going over there for?
Yeah,
you chose to leave."
Okay, let's move on to something. Hey, ladies and gentlemen, this is all random. If you have random thoughts in the comments about what's going on, let us know. All right. But another random thought: did you guys see? And Jaquari, this is really not sports related, so you can chime in. The 31-year-old man. No, the guy who got drafted to the NBA, the 31st pick, right? He got drafted in the NBA, and he's playing in the D League, right? The G League. Well, he decided to go to Baylor. He's 26 now. He decided to go down and play for Baylor. Now, you guys understand what that means. This man is a professional, and we're in the middle of the season. And he decided to go play for the Baylor Bears University.
How?
He's still eligible. I don't know. They said some kind of rule. The NBA said that he could do it.
It's happened before.
So,
what would be the benefit of that, though? I don't
he's been drafted, so it's not like he can go into the lottery or anything like that. He would have to go back to the original team he was drafted to. But I guess his signing bonus or whatever might be. I'm not sure. You know.
So you think he can get? Do you think he thinks he can get some of that NIL money?
I think that's what he's looking for. Because you gotta think about it. If he was getting paid, if he gets paid the same amount of NIL money as he did when he was playing with whatever G League team, right? He gets more in college because he only getting taxed through the state and the feds. But if he played professionally, he's getting taxed in every city or state that he plays in.
Right.
Yeah.
And plus,
But go ahead. Is it fair though?
If it benefits him, absolutely. What's the problem?
I'm talking about the high school kids trying to get into college. Is it fair to them that they're able to do this thing? Because you talk about the transfer portal, where they got all these grown men. They got all these grown men. These high school kids don't have a chance.
Bro, they don't care about that shit. The only thing they care about is who can bring something to the table that's going to benefit our team, moving us in the positive direction. That's all they care about. You know what I'm saying? They're not thinking about high school. They're talking about, that's what the transport portal is. That's what it is. It's like, hey, man, we can get a person in here that's going to benefit us. Benefit us, and we could be better in this situation. They're not thinking about the high school kids and all that stuff. If the high school kids is not on the radar, they're not going to get any attention.
A lot of, and these are all the power. A lot of the mid majors and the powers of 5 schools or whatever. They don't even look at, unless you are an elite high school kid, they don't even look at high school kids at all.
Kids is going to stop playing sports, man.
It's a shame, man. And I hate to say this, but the NCAA has to come in and monitor it, but why? You know what I'm saying? I think they did it on purpose. They have it wide open because they can determine how many times somebody can transfer. The NCAA. But they did it on purpose. You can transfer as many times as you want. So these guys are in the portal, right? The worst case scenario is guys have been reported for 4 years straight, transferred to 4 different colleges. That's the worst case scenario that's out there. But it's an average of 2 years. I mean, two transfers. You know what I mean? Now, I think I'm torn because it's giving the unlimited transfers is giving kids who in bad situations a chance. Right, but then you got other kids who just, them and their advisors is chasing the dollars and just taking advantage of it, and then a lot of other kids are being left out.
Yeah, I mean, it's like they treating these kids like strippers, man. I mean, it's the ones who get paid are the top tier strippers, and everybody else at the bottom, man, they're gonna get choked out. They're gonna get choked out, man. And everybody want to play the hot club with all the money, right?
Yeah.
Man, I don't know, man. I never thought that shit was a good idea. I mean, but
and I don't think anybody thought it was a good idea. I think the idea of kids being paid, having some money in college. Being able to get out on their own, I think that's a great idea.
Progress comes with loopholes, man. I mean, you think about the 1800s, like the gold rush and shit. There were towns in like California and places like that, man, where there was so much gold that the shit pretty much it didn't lose value altogether. Yeah. But I mean, they weren't getting a lot for it.
But see, the NIL is not the problem.
It's the source of the money.
No. That's not the problem. You know what the problem is? Unlimited transfer. That's the problem that needs to be fixed.
I mean, who's the problem? I mean, the NCAA. You said the NCAA is the body who monitors that, right?
Well, they
How
don't.
did how do they? There's got to be, if it's unlimited transfers, or hell, 3 or 4 transfers. How much money is involved in that transaction?
I,
There's got to be some benefit, that somebody ain't figured out, but them.
but see that's the whole point. They did it that way. That you said loopholes. They left a gigantic loophole. That's a gigantic loophole for people because when they first did it, it was because of COVID that they did it. You see what I'm saying? And then they gave them the extra year. So the people early on was milking that whole situation, right? Because of COVID. That was the whole thing, right? So here's my thing. It's not the NIL. It is how the NCAA, who's supposed to have been reasonable with it, put that unlimited shit where you can transfer as much as you can. And then they're not talking about the 7,000 kids that's left in the portal, that left their school and they don't have another school.
Mhm.
You see what I'm saying? That's why I say the NIL don't really matter. It's the fact that they able to do that. You know what I mean?
I say it matters because it's the reason why they're transporting, for the chance to catch the bag.
That's a good point. That's a good point. That's a good point.
But I mean, I would really like to be. I really like to would have liked to have been a fly on the wall, man. During those NCAA conversations. What are they gaining from allowing these people to just these kids to just go back and forth willy nilly?
They want the federal government to come in and put them in charge. Because if they put the NCAA in charge and don't put like a time limit on it, they can be in charge of that whole situation forever if they don't put any parameters on it. But they're waiting for the federal government, Congress, Senate, whoever the fuck does it. They're waiting for them because they don't. No, they
But
do.
they was in charge of it in the beginning, weren't they?
Yes, and
That's how it got fucked up in the first
they
place,
was
right?
making
Right.
billions of dollars, and then they
Okay, so
lost.
so so
They
so so
lost.
if the feds come in and put them back in charge, it's gonna come with some tight restrictions.
No, see that's my whole point, though. You're absolutely right, but guess what? They are giving it to the devil that they know.
Who is doing that?
The
The
federal
whole
government.
the whole situation don't make sense to me.
I
They
mean,
man,
you got to think about it, right? These motherfuckers did this shit and stepped back. You don't hear about the NCAA anymore when it comes to college athletics, other than the tournament and the football tournament and the basketball tournament. That's it. You don't
and
hear about it all.
and they want to bring to the forefront the other lesser like the women basketball and wrestling, all that. They want to bring that up and say, okay, how do we make this fair and this and that, and that and this. They want the NIL and the transfer portal to fail in order for the government to come in and say, hey, man, let's put the NCAA back in charge so they can
And
sort it out.
you're right, Damon. And I think they lobbying to do it right now. They spending money in those lobbies to do it right now.
Right. And it's not
I
going to
wonder,
fail because there's too much money involved, man.
There's a lot of money involved.
I wonder outside of football, basketball, baseball. I wonder what other sports are making money through the NILs.
I mean,
Yeah,
you know, it's your name, image, and likeness. You know, because at one time it was a gymnast that was making more money, like top 5 in the
Okay.
country, from LSU.
Okay.
Yeah, her and Angel was in the top 5 of making money. It's name, image, and likeness. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, if
But you know what though? When you think about it like that, bro, that's fairness. You know what I'm saying? It's the athletes that's bringing money to the institutions, bro. You know what I'm saying?
I'm not against it. And that's all I was. No, what me and Jaquari was talking about when you was gone was, I think the problem is the transfer portal. Jaquari feel like it was the NIL.
Well, you know what though? Has that been college athletes, be it basketball or football, that was in school for the last 7 years? You know what I'm saying?
I mean,
And
yeah.
they bring something to the team that made them successful. I mean, there is that aspect of it, bro.
It is. It
If
is.
you got somebody 26 years old, of course they're gonna be heads above everybody else.
More mature. You know what I mean?
Right.
Able to use their bodies. Yes.
Yeah,
and how
but who go ahead.
I'm saying, and how are these student athletes doing in class? That's what I'd like to know.
They're not Look, I'm gonna tell you, the more popular
They,
ones, Jaquari, they're not graduating.
but they gotta maintain some kind of GPA.
No, if they transfer,
No,
all right. Say if you the hot commodity.
if you that
You
deal,
know,
you don't.
I'll give you a perfect example.
The
Shador,
NCAA, the
Shador,
NCAA ain't you
no.
don't so you don't have to have any kind of grades to play college
You
ball.
do have to go in and have like a C, at least a D average to be eligible.
Well,
Yeah,
That's something the NCAA can control right there.
that's
I
well,
thought
exactly. And
the
here's the thing:
the school
if it's
controls
about
that. Go ahead, Phil.
if it's about academics and amateur sports and stuff like that, then it is about carrying a certain GPA and all that stuff. You know what I'm saying? And that has to be monitored and paid attention to and all that stuff. You know what I'm saying? But if it's about like and image, that's capitalism, bro. That's money. You can generate from that. That's why you have not scouts, but what you call them? Guys who represent people going to the next level.
Agent.
Agents. Agents are more involved more so than anything at this point.
But hear me out though, real quick. That's the same reason you had a dude who played in the NBA who graduated from Creighton and couldn't fucking read.
Okay.
What is there not only I mean, does the educational standard need to be probably increased in order to match the fucking NIL, but it's got to be maintained. You can't be no dummy here. Even if we are paying you, you are a representative of the school, number one, and number two. When you leave this school with our lambskin, there was some expectation. If you don't go to a league, there was some expectation for you to have proficiency in something.
But to see, that's
Right.
the whole point.
As it pertains to the
people who stay.
respect of the college, of course, it's about the lambskins and
It's about the people who stay.
But
Really,
the people who stay, but the people who stay, Keith, is gonna have to graduate from somewhere someday.
they're going to do that though. It's going.
and you
And
justify.
if they don't
You have to
graduate,
justify-
I'll make them pay every dime.
No,
Fuck that.
hell no.
Fuck that.
Hell no. There's no
But,
way.
but if the student athlete graduate from the university, they have to justify through academics and reputation and all this stuff. How the hell they get a degree? You know what I'm saying, from this university, and they don't have the criteria.
So hold on.
Doesn't that still count?
No, did we switch up because I'm lost? So what are you guys saying?
I'm asking if education even matters anymore.
It doesn't
Right.
matter with guys who are transferring from school to school, bro. It don't matter.
But Keith, how long does that last?
It's gonna last until they change it, until their eligibility runs out. And it does runs out eventually. It's not like, you know, I could keep doing this 10 years down. No, you still have a certain amount of eligibility that you have. You have 5 years. You see what I'm saying? They can the university can give you 5 years, right? But when you come in, your GPA has to be a certain level.
Right. And how
That's
do you
just a
justify?
standard.
And it don't got to stay a
How,
certain
how
level.
do you, how do
No,
you
because
justify
if
a
you
student athlete who's been there for 5 years and get a degree and they didn't earn this shit? How do you justify that?
what do you mean by earn, man? I don't understand.
That's school accreditation, man.
Listen, what do you mean by because it's liberal arts degrees out there, bro? You know what I mean? Meaning that you accumulate a certain amount of credits and you have a degree. You understand what I'm saying? It's a workaround, bro. And nobody's looking at the fact that from school, when you transfer from a school, you don't carry all your stuff with you.
It depends.
It
If you
depends
did your
on whether or
homework.
not how high
What was able to transfer? It all depends. Absolutely.
So if somebody continues to transfer or he or she don't stay long enough, she's not going to graduate because you're not carrying enough. But if you're carrying the GPA, right? But you're not carrying enough to actually accumulate the degree.
You could take a badminton class and sustain a certain amount of GPA.
Yeah.
You can do that. I'm talking about accreditation, bro. That's something totally different.
Bro, I understand what you mean, but I don't understand how it applies to this.
I mean, the overall goal to go to college, man, is to further your education, man. I
Yeah.
mean, you know, there's money there. That's a cherry. I get it, man. They got 5 years of eligibility or whatever, but what happens after those 5 years? What do they do then?
They short if they ain't saved no money.
So we're gonna have a generation of black kids, man, boys and girls who got fucking the bag or whatever for 4 years, hell, 2 years, then fuck their knee up, and then they just leave because they're not making money no more.
Okay, so the example you just gave, I can give you prior to all of this happening, that was happening anyway.
And that's what Malika said.
That was happening anyway, bro.
Yeah, but
talking about.
But my point is this, bro. How do you justify having a degree from that institution if you did not meet the requirements, bro?
So, but
Damon, I don't even think.
Who? Justify with who, Damon?
I don't even.
In terms of the institution, you lose accreditation if you graduate people and just giving them out degrees and it doesn't qualify. They can't get jobs because.
I understand that if they found a reason to go into those classes, but if you're passing, they have no reason unless there's a whistleblower, right?
Okay, there is that part. You passing for what? Because you're doing the actual work in the classroom, or because you can play a sport, and you getting a damn degree.
Hold on, man. Hold on. Come on, bro. You hear what I understand that you're all about education and all this, but yo, you were a basketball player in college. You understood that there were some people, some teammates that just stayed eligible up until it was time for them to graduate, and they weren't able to graduate because they just stayed eligible. No, they probably got a liberal arts degree, right? And just the accumulation where you did pass all these classes, but you didn't have a certain major. You see what I'm saying?
That's the
Yeah,
third time I heard you mention
I get it.
getting a liberal arts degree. You do realize that a liberal arts degree encompasses all shit.
What did I say that didn't do that? That's exactly what I said to you. I didn't shit on having a liberal arts degree, bro. But I'm telling you that's the easier path to keep people eligible, is what I'm saying to you.
A liberal arts degree is not an easier path, bro. You have to be on point with all aspects of liberal arts. You have to be that. That's not an easy thing. You can just go into a general subject and follow that course and get a degree in that, but you're not.
Okay, so
You didn't get all aspects of a liberal arts degree. You didn't get that.
If you listen, I was not debating the difficulty of it. I know some men and women. That's how they stayed eligible. That's all I said to you. That's what I gave that example. The pathway, because it was a debate. We were debating exactly how, because you talked about the accreditation. And I gave that example of I saw people and it's about the actual graduating the degree, period, no matter what kind of degree you have. You put the time in there and to walk out those doors. And it's all individualized, period. College is individualized, man. They try to make us, sports is the one that galvanizes everything, but it's all about individuals because people pay to go to school. They pay to go to school and get that education. Athletes, if you get blessed to get a scholarship, but it's still the same thing. You're paying into that situation. So if this person comes out with a degree, it makes no difference how he got the degree. He paid for it.
Okay. I mean, I'm not demonizing the money, man, or the opportunity. I'm just saying it just seems a little short-sighted to me.
Yeah, I believe that. And look, I agree with every point that you made. So if you know what I mean, I just always felt like the NCAA made billions and billions of dollars off of people.
Absolutely.
They did. And
Absolutely.
Then when it got taken away from them, they left people out there and say, fuck y'all. You know what I'm saying? And then you know who it hurt. And I think COVID was the reason why they did the portal the way they did it. And it did, to me, it decimated the average good high school basketball player, where he has to either look for.
Well, here's the thing, bro. I had 2 kids graduate at the top of their class during COVID. So, what?
What that got to do with anything, bro? I'm saying
because
portal.
You keep talking about COVID, you keep talking about liberal arts.
Did you just hear what I just said, man? Now, what did I touch a nerve?
Actually, I didn't. Actually, I didn't because my shit is malfunctioning and shit.
No, what I said was the reason the portal existed like it does now was because of COVID. It has nothing to do with education, man. The education kept going. You know what I'm saying? I'm talking about the sports.
Okay, you want to talk about the sports? Okay.
I thought that's what we were talking about.
Okay.
Anything else, guys, like this, that you guys want to just touch on? Damon, you talked about yesterday. You talked about something about the Somalis in is it Minnesota? Did you want to talk about that or
the Trump supporters?
Yeah, he said that he wanted to address something about it, and that's why I was asking him.
Okay.
Luke, Luke, Luke. I think he having problems.
Yeah.
All right. Hey, we can hear you now. Can you hear us?
I unplugged my mic. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Yeah. That's a good point. I mean, it's all new. There's always going to be loopholes you didn't foresee. You have to write things in a way you can rewrite them later. I totally agree. I totally agree. But what's going to be the motivation?
But I think Malika, I agree with you too. But I think they did it on purpose.
Yeah,
I
I
tell
see.
Jafar and them all the time. I think they did it on purpose.
I don't want this to be another situation involving black people where disaster has it's got to be a fucking catalyst for change.
I get it. I think the one thing about it is that makes it unique is the parents. The parents don't have they have decision making, but their parents don't want to deny their children if they're able to get money. Let me put it like that. But once you go into the college situation, you know what's so funny? I discovered that with my oldest son, once he got into college, they consider him an adult. So they don't send us, even if we're paying for everything, they don't send us transcripts. They don't tell us nothing, no progress in it. It's all on him. That's kind of what the way it is now, where these kids are, they may have their parents, right? They might have their parents in their lives and they're listening to them, but a lot of them don't because if you're in the starting five in a men's power five school, right? And it's packed money because there's two things. It's NIL, which is that advertisement. You know what I mean? Being sponsored by restaurants, shoes, or whatever, right? And then it's pack money. Pack money is what when I came back, the secret money that the alumni boosters was handing out. That's pack money, which is legal now. You see what I'm saying? So these kids, it's easy to do it for a basketball team because it's only 15 kids. So a semester, you know, you might have a budget where you can get each kid, minimum $10,000 to spend, and you're still taking care of them, giving them money, whatever, right? And they're at that age where they need a parent's guidance or maturity to, especially the more money that they make, they need that maturity to say, okay, let's keep it. You don't have to keep the whole thing, but put something away. And I think overwhelmingly, you give a little young kid money who ain't never been used to it, you know what he's gonna do with it.
You're gonna fuck it off.
Yeah, they are. They can't help it.
Yeah, I mean, but that was like basically my point from earlier, man. I mean, there's no security in giving these children that amount of money, man, and it's, just expecting them to stretch it for real.
And look,
What do you do after you don't ball no more?
yeah, I think it's a good thing they're getting the money, but I think if the schools really cared, they would have mandatory classes for all those kids that's involved in the NIL or
But do
some
you
sort of money.
but do you count that in the curriculum?
They can. They can.
That's a whole nother can of worms right there,
No, I
bro.
mean because I'm gonna tell you, my freshman year, I was put in classes all freshmen had to go. Freshmen across board, athletes had to go to these classes to learn how to be college students. You know what I'm saying? So that's why I say I think they can. Oh, did you see what Malika said? And then it's the SAG too. And SAG, are they talking about SAG, Jaquari? Is she talking about SAG?
I'm not sure. I don't know. I don't know anything about SAG actually. I mean, but the trust thing. I mean, that's just you can't you can't dangle a carrot and then tell the horse he can only he can only eat half of it.
Yeah,
I can't hear shit. Hey man, I'm gonna have to let y'all brothers go, man.
All right, bro. We're not gonna be too much longer, man.
All right, because I can't hear a damn thing, bro. I'm gonna be honest with you.
All right, man. Love you, brother.
Love you, man.
Happy New Year. Happy birthday.
Love y'all too, man.
All right.
Thank you.
Happy birthday, bro.
Peace.
Peace. Boy, that Damon's internet get fickle around this time of night, don't it?
Yeah, but I bet it's quiet where he is. And there ain't but 3 street lights out that motherfucker.
I see what Malika was saying. Little child actors got to put their money in a trust because it stops the parents from spending their money. You know what I mean?
Shit, yeah. I don't know how I feel about that, man, because the parents sacrifice too.
I get that, but
the parents sacrifice too, man. And
I think they started doing that for
Emmanuel Lewis.
Lewis, because his parents robbed the man, stole millions from him. This Emmanuel Lewis.
Was it him or Gary Coleman?
Gary Coleman.
Gary Coleman.
That's who it was. Robbed him of millions. I'm talking about buying mansions with his money.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean that. Yeah. But that was like, it was their money though.
It was their money when it was their money when they had the checkbook.
Yeah, you know man. But the parents, like I said, we gave up everything, to move out here to New Jersey and everything, get you in these classes and all that. And
come on, bro.
Expose you to all these weird folks.
If your child is a star, right? The money that you sacrifice, right? You can get that back in a year. I'm not talking about a lifetime. What's the Home Alone dude? Macaulay Culkin. His parents robbed him. Look, robbed him. You know what I'm saying? Like he had to sue to be grown. You know?
Yeah.
You know, but I don't know. Look, I hope nobody who was watching felt like I was downing a liberal arts degree. I brought it up for a reason. You know what I mean? And I just wanted to put it out there because I thought Damon misunderstood me. You know what I'm saying?
Mm.
That's all. That's all. Oh no. But what else, Jaquari? This is new. Okay. Malika, Keith, anybody else in the comments? Here's the question. What do you think about New Year's resolutions? Do you believe in them?
I believe that the concept is strong enough for people to keep repeating it, but the follow through is never there. It's never there. I mean, personally, I don't believe I've ever made a New Year's resolution.
I have. but I was just being a sheep going along with everybody else.
Mm.
You know what I mean? Because really and truly, I think it was made up to inspire people to do better or feel better about themselves, about their lives, and stuff like that, right? But I think it's a knee-jerk thing. Like, oh, you know what? My New Year's resolution, I'm going to do this, new diet, this, smoke cigarettes.
I never believed that, man. I always believed that, if I was to do a New Year's resolution, it would be, subtracting something, something that I didn't feel like I needed anymore.
Yeah, yeah.
You know what I mean? Shit, hell, I started, I started smoking for a very good reason. You
Because
know,
I like them. No.
yeah, that, but at one point in time, the consumption of nicotine was very important to me, even though I knew it was bad for me. You know, so I don't.
Look, I asked that question because this going through, like a year ago, no, last summer, I sat down in my house and sitting there, and I thought about what I wanted to change in my life, and I came up with some stuff, right? Nothing made of this. Subtle changes are the most important changes in your life because they're simple, but you can maintain them, and it builds up the foundation for the bigger changes, right? That's what I believe. So I went on that journey, and when New Year's is coming up, I said to myself, "What's going to be my New Year's resolution?" I said, "Whoa, hold on. Why the hell am I doing this?" I made a decision back in the middle of the year that was important to me. You feel what I'm saying?
Hmm.
So I made a light prayer of gratitude, right? And I moved on because I'm going strong in what the hell I wanted anyway. Malika, you said I think New Year's is an easy date because goals should be start and finish. A lot of people just suck at seeing them through to the end. And you're right. Top of the year. I hadn't thought about that, Malika, but that makes sense. You know, it's common sense, really. Um,
You think about you think about like to mid February, man. Everybody who regularly goes to the gym like faithfully is gonna be pissed off because all them all of them New Year's resolutions,
that's real.
and they just gotta wait for that shit to burn out.
Yeah, yeah. I think what I do is I change what time of day I go in. You know what I mean? Because I belong to two gyms, the cheap one
Mm.
and the the expansive one. And each of them around 10 o'clock in the morning, because I'm retired, folks. Around 10 o'clock in the morning is a good time for me to go in. You know what I mean? To grab up on some machines, you know. Let me see. This was at December 28th, Jaquari. I had a holiday. Me and my two partners, Bill Burnett and Danny Moore, we uh, we had a holiday, a pit holiday party.
You guys talking
You know what I
about
mean? It's our fifth annual joint. So, and I was torn as we were, getting things together. I was torn. Well, why am I doing this? Right? Even though I had some good friends, good people that I met at Pitt, acquaintances, the whole nine. But I'm like, well, why am I doing this though? You know what I'm saying? And it came to me when I was from 18, really 17, because that's when I arrived in Pittsburgh. From 17 to 22. From 17 to 22 was one of the most, no matter what was going on, bad was going on in my life, but one of the most carefree moments of my life in which I breathed authentic air. You know what I'm saying? I'm talking about that air, that unfiltered, like that innocent, naive, goofy ass air, young air. You feel me?
Mhm.
And those people who were coming to it, some of them I knew, some of them I didn't, which was a good thing. They reminded me of that person. Whether you went to college or not, to be able to be reminded of that and know that you had more good times than bad during that little period of time, that's a good thing to do, man. You know what I'm saying? What between those ages, what was it stressful for you, or was it useful for you, Jaquari, or what was it?
17 and 22. Shit, that was. I mean, I told you I really don't remember things from my past, man. So I mean, I I say that, man. And it's funny, but I really it's hard for me to remember those years, man. I mean, and I don't want to put it on uh, any particular set of circumstances or anything like that, because there was some good times, definitely, you know, but it's just a blur. It's a blur. I mean, but that's not the truth, man. That's not the truth. I was uh I was raised right, but I thought I lived my life a certain way outside of the house. You
Okay.
know what I mean? So for instance, man, like you, I never learned how to ride a bike, right?
I remember you
But
telling me that. Yeah.
yeah, but I used to steal them. Me and my little thug buddies, we go out, we stealing bikes and everything. They riding the bikes around. They riding the bikes away or whatever. I'm running with the bike and shit. You know, and I don't know what the hell they doing with the bike. I get like a block away. I throw the motherfucking bike in the field, right? And we get together drinking 40s and everything. We all stole bikes. Yeah, I stole the motherfucking bike too. But the next day, I wake up and go back to the field and get the bike and take it back to the house because I feel guilty. That kind of shit. So I was all over the place, man. I didn't know who I wanted to be.
Yeah.
I was the guy who I am now while I was trying to figure out who the fuck I wanted to be.
Yeah.
And slowly over the years, who I wanted to be got chipped away. And I started, showing the world who I really was. And I don't think he's such a bad dude.
Yeah, and you and I were talking about it earlier today. No matter what goal, no what thing you go through, whether or not the highest to the lowest, the way that you get through it is how you feel the most about who you are as a person. You know what I mean? Because I've been on some lows that because I felt I was more than my situation, I could persevere and I could bite the bullet and get through and fight through it, right? But then when I was in my high, because I was always biting the bullet and fighting through it and always seeing just adversity, right? I felt like I was sneaking into good situations, like hoping a motherfucker don't recognize that even though I do the work to be there, but I brainwashed myself into thinking that it was luck for me to be there.
Yeah, I know exactly what you mean. I know exactly what you mean.
And that's the thing about it. Like I said, I've done a lot of good things, man, like really good things. But the way that I thought about myself as being a grinder, a hustler, and not knowing what that feels like. Because sometimes we grind for nothing. Even though we succeed,
You think so?
I think so, man. We grind for like, even though we grind and we do what we do, right? We have no objective to it. That's what I can relate to. Like I excelled, I excelled in school, in sports. I held my own when it came to just being in the streets, all of this stuff, right? But I had no direction with it all. I was a hard worker. I was doing all these different things. And somebody would say, oh, hey, man, what do you want to be? And my answer was always be happy.
Man is
Which was honest, but I had nothing to pinpoint. Like, oh, shit, I want to be a mad scientist. Oh, shit, I want to be, you know what I'm saying? CEO of General Motors or some shit. You feel what I'm saying?
I mean, man's biggest crime, man, is trying to find a fucking point, Keith.
Yeah.
You grind because grinding is a part of living. That's just what it is. If you wasn't grinding here, you'd be grinding there. If you're not, you're gonna die.
I'm gonna tell you, I was going. Malika says imposter syndrome. I don't think it's quite that. You know what I mean? Or survivor's remorse. I don't think it was that either. I just think there's not having a clear cut destination, but knowing that all I wanted to work towards was happiness.
But I mean, that's treading water, man. Treading water can save your life, Keith, even if you don't know how to swim, brother.
And look, and I'm not debating it. It's just, you know, when I was more immature, I would think that, man, I wish I understood this when this was in my hands. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But the thing about it is, I wasn't meant to understand it. I was meant to achieve it. I was meant to survive it. I was meant to do all these different things that was done, right? But until I became more aware of who I was and comfortable with it and happy with it, how many people do we know? And this is no exact science, but how many people do we know are really happy with themselves? Because I really believe, Jaquari, that being conceited is not being happy with yourself. Because you telling yourself, you got to convince yourself, you have convinced yourself that you was the shit. Why? Now, am I right about it? Maybe not, but I always say, well, why? Why do I have to tell myself that I'm the shit? Is it because I don't believe it? You see what I'm saying? It's to me, it's always been weird to me.
Yeah, I mean, it ain't easy to navigate, man. But everything you just said, I thought about the same things, to some degree, man. And I tell myself I'm the shit because ain't nobody else telling
me. Yeah, that's a good point.
I have to.
That's a good point.
I have to. All the hardship I went through growing up, man. All the hardship I went through, in my early 20s and in some of my 30s or whatever, man. and until I was able to build, my current support system.
Yeah,
I had to fatten my head up with shit like that.
it's true. I'm gonna tell you what my saving grace was. When the moments that I sat down somewhere and somebody unexpectedly come to me and remind me of the moments that I spent with them and what they saw as we interacted. And I'll be looking at them like, for real? You felt that for real? You know what I mean? Because the thing about it is, I'm not purposeful when I help people. I'm not purposeful when I'm cussing somebody out. It is, I felt you move me there. You know what I'm saying? Now I want people, and I mean this with all my heart. I want the innocent and the weak to be good all the time. Like they taken care of. Because I had a taste of that. We've had a taste of that. And I did not fucking like it.
Yeah. I look at it. In the same regards as the things that I spoke about earlier, like with the viral moments or whatever, man. I never sought to make an impact on somebody.
Yeah.
That was never my goal. As often as it happens, that's not my thing to go out and and impress a certain thing upon a person. You know, is having to do with the way they feel about me. I mean, that's fuck. I don't give a fuck about that. I mean, but I've been blessed with a certain amount of charisma where that shit happens.
Yeah. 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 But yeah, like I said, it's all a journey.
Mhm.
I'm 61 and I'm still on the damn journey. And I'm glad that I am. I'm glad I'm not stationary.
Mm-hmm.
Because I like to be fed new information. Matter of fact, I love it because guess what I'm going to do? I'm going to share that information.
Mm-hmm.
To me, I think as black people we don't share enough. But and on the other side of that is, as black people, we don't listen enough either. We don't listen enough. You know what I mean? I'm talking about to each other because there's a brother who will come and just because he don't match the same energy as this group of brothers and sisters together, but he might be telling you the real.
Mm-hmm.
And your dumbasses, and it's not all of us, but I'm saying your dumbasses choose not to listen to him because he don't fit who you are.
Yeah, but that's it's the same concept as driving behind a slow driver, man. It pisses everybody off. Driving behind slow drivers piss everybody off. I know it does because it happens to me all the time.
Mm-hmm.
But when I use my rational thinking mind, I'm saying to myself, Spoke, maybe this motherfucker maybe God put this motherfucker in front of you to slow you the fuck down.
Yeah, yeah.
So you can take this minute and get your shit together in order for you to do what you got to do and you get to where you going.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
Sometimes the roadblocks, man, need to be there.
And that's true. I agree with that wholeheartedly. You know what I'm saying? Especially when I have proof, because many roadblocks have blocked the fuck out of me, but I came out the better. See, which is crazy because it's about the instant gratification as opposed to the permanently satisfied. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It is what it is. All right, well, this is first episode. I'm gonna start numbering these, Jaquari. So this is episode number 1 of 2026. And any last, well, let me do this. Please go to our YouTube channel, like, share, and subscribe. Hook us up, man. If you're not subscribed to us, subscribe to us. Tell your friends about us. We're here every Friday at 7:30. If you want to be a guest, please get in touch with me, Jaquari, or Damon, and we're going to make it happen. You know what I'm saying? I got like 2 or 3 people who want to come back recurring folks that made a big impact on the pod, and a couple surprises, man. So they telling me they're interested. So I'm not going to tell you who it is yet, Jaquari, but they're telling me they're interested. So we'll see. We'll see.
Okay.
Please go like, share, and subscribe. Any last words, Jaquari?
Sir, I've thoroughly enjoyed the conversation, man. I look forward to the next. Y'all take care of yourselves. Be safe.
I also, too, Keith Barnes, Malika, Robin Malone, Donnie Brown, cousin Taylor. Love y'all. Appreciate y'all. Thanks for your comments.
Absolutely.
And like I said, we Buzz Lightyear. What's it saying? Do you remember, Jaquari? Fuck it. Infinity and beyond.
Yes.
That's us. That's us. This is Strong Perspective Podcast. You guys and young ladies, enjoy your weekend. I pray to God bless you all. Bless you all. We'll see you next week.
Peace.
Peace.